Good morning there, tubers. We're going to do a little experiment today with the Ecodiesel. Kind of on a mission. We're getting ready to go up and pick up the Tenement on wheels. And I did an oil change on this, Monday. Today's Thursday. Did an oil change on it. And there it is. So, see how many miles I've got on my oil change. 210 miles. And we're going to do a little acceleration test because I added stiction modifier to my truck, and everybody's like, it's not going to do anything to your truck. Well, if you own an Ecodiesel like mine, and you can see my RPMs are smoother, my acceleration's smoother, just overall performance of the truck. Now this is, as you can see, I'm not going over 2,000 RPMs. Well, I am now because I'm getting on the highway. I'm going to try and stay below 2,500 as much as I can. Just moderate acceleration. You can see how quickly the speed is picked up and just how easily and effortlessly this thing has been accelerating. We're also going to go back and take a look at what's going to happen when I put a 6,000 pound camper on the back of it. I'll go through and I'll scroll back to my favorite screen. You can see my engine temperatures are fairly normal. Transmission's not quite warmed up yet. Oil temperature's pretty good around. Sitting at about 1,800 RPM at almost 70 miles an hour. Truck's doing really well. See, my oil pressure's up at pretty much 40 pounds. You gotta forgive me, I don't do this professionally, so I don't have an actual camera. I do this on my phone, so. But when we get up to the storage lot, we'll deal with the other half of the day. Alright, now that we've got the old glamper hooked up there, I will show you something that I do that's different from somebody else. This, of course, little wire is your emergency brake cable. In case your trailer goes bye-bye, it pulls the pin and, locks your rear brakes. Well, here's something I do that's different. I hang mine on here so that way, if these do come off and this comes apart, then guess what? Hopefully that little cable stays with your truck on this pin, so that way it'll pull that and stop your truck. A lot of people like to, hook them right here on your chain, so if this comes apart and your chains stay on, it's not going to pull it. At least this way, if it's up here attached to your truck, hopefully it pulls. Hopefully. At least that's the theory behind the whole thing. But we'll do a quick light check. Hey, look, light. Make sure we've got tail lights and turn signals. Already checked the tires because I had to take the covers off of them. Yep, alright. Got turn signals and tail lights. Let's see if we can get this show on the road. Another thing you'll notice, my truck does not have towing mirrors. It's got the power fold blah 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 mirrors, but it doesn't have towing mirrors. So we'll show you a trick. Ta-da! Magically have towing mirrors now. They're Super Snap by K-Source, and they fit over the mirrors. You still have your puddle lights and turn signals. They are not really made for the power. So if you like to have to fold your mirrors in, you have to flip them up or take them back off, but that's not really a process. I mean, there is, one thing. They will scratch your mirrors, but oh well. That's not a big deal. They're black plastic anyway, at least on mine. It's alright. Let's get this show finished up and we'll get the highway. Alright, now that I've gotten all my pre-trip crap done, see where we're sitting. Tow haul mode engaged. Parking brake off. Let's see how it does pulling this thing down the highway. We'll wait for traffic. Traffic coming. So what we got here behind me, not that you can see it in my mirror or anything, but we have a 2013 Keystone Hideaway. Gross vehicle weight's roughly 6,400 pounds, empty, which it's not. It's got clothes and stuff in it. But I'm looking at probably full tank of water. If I had a full tank of water on it, of course it doesn't since I just pulled it out of the storage lot. Looking at probably 6,900 pounds, a little over. So we're looking at probably 7,000 pounds. Once loaded with food, maybe 7,100 pounds. And you can see she's just gonna walk right away with it pretty easily. I mean, it's pretty much almost effortless. And I mean, this truck has the 392 gears. It doesn't have the 355s that come fairly standard with it. It's a little, like I said in my earlier videos, this is the Outdoorsman. It has a weight rating of 8,700 towing pounds, which is unheard of, apparently. And, I mean, I figured I'd just get it out there and, you know, guys are like, you know, hey, Ecodiesels, look at my Ecodiesel tow this camper. Well, it's, you know, 4,500 pounds. Yeah, it should be able to tow that pretty easily. And, yeah, let's do that. Again, this one's 7,000 pounds, and I know there's a guy that he's very well known out there. That's what he does with this thing. He takes his and tows campers with it all day long. He just transports stuff all day long with it. And he's done a second motor with it that had, his first motor had over 300,000 miles on it. So, I mean, they can do it. I just wanted to see how much better it pulls with having the stiction modifier in it and everything else. Now, as you can see, I'm not really getting on it. I'm probably using about the same amount of throttle I used getting on the exit ramp unloaded. So it's doing really well. I mean, of course, I'm not going to get into a hurry with it because, yeah, no thanks. I mean, yeah, the people behind me hate me, but this is how I drive it with a camper on it. I'm not trying to win any races. That's not what it's made to do. But you can see it stays pretty steady. Rolls right along. I'm going to get a little more gas to it. Try and jump it up to 7th gear. That's probably about half throttle. We're in 6th gear now, rolling at about 60 miles an hour. And it'll never hit 8th gear, but that's fine. That's how she runs. get smoothed out in here is the fact that I don't have the engine foam on this anymore. I don't have any of the foam on it. I don't have any of the like the high pressure fuel pump has got a foam piece over it to quiet it down, and you got the foam on top of the engine to quiet it down and get rid of a lot of that obnoxious, diesel knock that you get. And I've taken all that off. I mean, my engine is completely opened except for the cover itself. I've left the cover on because whatever. But so what it's really quieted down is this thing had, when I'd pull the camper and get up to 2,500 RPM or closer to 2,800 before it would shift, it had a really obnoxious rattle. I mean, the steering wheel, the horn right here, would vibrate and it'd make noise. So I mean, I'd literally have to hold my finger on it and to get it to stop rattling, and it really soothed that out pretty good. So I'm not too unimpressed. So I'm gonna stop videoing now. I'm gonna end my day, and well, let me do one more thing. We'll see how it takes off from a stoplight. I wasn't gonna do that, but yeah, we'll do it anyway. But yeah, you can see the truck handles with the weight distribution hitch. Handles pretty good. It's not too super bouncy. I mean, but of course, it's windy today, so I'm getting kind of moved around by the wind, but yeah, rumble strips, rumble strips. But yeah, it's holding speed fairly well. I've let off of it a little bit because again, it's getting kind of windy out here. I mean, of course, it is bouncy because I mean, you do have a camper on the thing, but it's not too bad. That it rides pretty good. I don't feel uncomfortable with it. Let's put it that way. I mean, as long as I don't feel uncomfortable with it, I'm good with it. Who cares? Because I've driven this camper to Bennett. Well, I haven't done it to Bennett yet. I've done it to a lake a couple hours away from us. Driven it to Indiana Dunes. I mean, and then plus that, this truck, I've had it for a year now. October 9th was the first year with it, and I bought it with $74,000. It's got $96,000 on it now. It has taken me on 4 camping trips now. Last weekend it took us to South Dakota and back. I mean, it's a great little truck. I absolutely cannot complain about it. I mean, it's, like I said, they're holding between 60 and 65. Outside temperatures in the 50s, because it is October in Missouri. 204 degrees, 215 degrees oil temperature, 185 on the transmission. I mean, pretty decent numbers for this little 3-liter. And especially having this much weight. And that's right around where it stays the whole time. I mean, it never really gets too hot other than that. So we're coming up to the stoplight. As you can see, our storage lot's not that far from the house. So let's see how this thing does pulling away from the stoplight. So, do 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 do. I hate stoplights. Do 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 do. Come on, turn green. Come on, turn green. There we go. There's green. may even be able to hear a little bit of the turbo whistle in there. Maybe. Because I've been hearing that a lot more too since I've added that stiction modifier to it. But this right here is why I added that to my truck. Because I do stuff like this. Not all the time, but I do it enough. You know, I put the truck under load. I drive it like a truck. This isn't just a commuter vehicle that gets awesome fuel mileage, which my fuel mileage has jumped up. I mean, it's 1.5 miles to the gallon, but hey, that's a good point. You know, and you can see now that we're under a load. Sorry, I'm trying to 16.4, I think. 15.4. So I got 15.4. Sorry. Again, I have to apologize. I don't do this professionally. I do all my videos on my phone. So, yeah, it's going to be a little crappy. But and we'll do one more test with it because I got a big hill coming up. And that'll tell me how well it's going to do whenever it comes to pulling into the state park we're going to, because it's got a monstrous hill I have to take this thing up in order to get to our campsite. Because we were here last year, but of course last year I had this truck. It was my first camping trip with it, and we didn't have a 27-foot, 7,000-pound camper. We had a 20-foot, 1,200-pound pop-up, which was nice, except when it snowed and it got cold, and my butt was cold the whole night. So I said, nah, we're not going to do that again. That's when we decided to get this big dog. My wife and I aren't as young as we used to be. We don't like to freeze. We like to stay warm. We like to stay very warm and very comfortable. So, sixth gear. Alright, we're pulling into the big hill, otherwise known as the subdivision, to get home. Ooh, you can really hear it whistle now. I doubt you'll be able to hear it in there, but boy, I can really hear that turbo whistling as it winds down. So this is our hill that we have to traverse. And again, climbing the hill in third gear, 1800 RPM, it's just chugging right along. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love this little truck. All right, we're reaching our destination. You guys have a good day. Talk to you later.